I'll never forget the screams that ripped through Cedar Grove that sunny afternoon. Our little slice of suburban heaven, with its cookie-cutter lawns and pristine mailboxes, turned into a circus in the blink of an eye. One second, we were rolling out the red carpet for a real-life prince from some fancy European country. The next, our HOA president, Linda Harper, was hurling a bucket of water at this regal guy in shimmering robes while news cameras caught every jaw-dropping moment. The crowd froze, like someone hit pause on the world, and before anyone could blink, police sirens wailed, and Linda, our neighborhood's self-appointed queen, was being marched off in handcuffs, her perfect makeup melting down her face. Let me take you back to how this all went down. I've called Cedar Grove home for 3 years now. It's one of those upscale neighborhoods where the grass is measured with a ruler, and painting your house the wrong shade of taupe is practically a felony. Linda Harper ran our HOA like she was ruling a small country. She clutched the neighborhood rulebook like it was the Bible, always ready to lecture you on trash placement or how your Christmas lights were up a day too long. Most of us just try to fly under her radar. I'd already gotten on her bad side a while back when I put solar panels on my roof. They were fully approved, but Linda swore they clashed with the community VYB. She'd leave these snippy notes on my doorstep every week, always ending with her favorite line. "So, as your HOA president, I must remind you that property values are everyone's responsibility." So I followed every dumb rule, filled out every form in triplicate, but somehow I was still her pet project. Then came the bombshell. Our little town was picked for an international cultural tour, and a royal family from a tiny, filthy rich European nation wanted to see a typical American suburb. Out of all the neighborhoods, they chose Cedar Grove. The buzz was electric. Everyone was thrilled, except Linda. The second she heard a royal motorcade would roll down Magnolia Drive, where her house sat front and center, she lost it. "This is private property," she ranted at an emergency HOA meeting. "They can't just waltz through here like they own it. What about security? What about my prize roses by the curb?" Picture her standing in the community center, her blonde pixie cut frozen with hairspray, jabbing a manicured nail at a map of our streets. "I won't allow it," she declared. "As president, I refuse to let this happen." The rest of the HOA board tried to talk her down. This was huge for our neighborhood's reputation. The Royals were even donating to our community garden. The city had security locked down tight. But Linda wasn't HOA-ing it. Her face turned redder by the second as she snapped, "If you all want to bow down to some foreign prince, go ahead. But my stretch of Magnolia Drive is under my SAW control, and I'll enforce our no trespassing rules to the letter." She stormed out, her stilettos clicking like gunfire on the tile floor. Over the next week, Linda waged a one-woman war against the royal VY-sit. She flooded our inboxes with emails titled things like "Urgent, Property Rights at Stake," and "Resist the Royal Invasion." She plastered flyers on every windshield, whining about traffic and security risks. Most folks just toss them and roll their eyes. A few of us started a collection we called the Linda Harper Hall of Crazy. 2 days before the big day, I was out mowing my lawn when Linda strutted up my driveway, clipboard in hand. "As your HOA president," she said, her voice syrupy, but her eyes like daggers, "I'm gathering signatures to protest this violation of our privacy." I shut off the mower and grinned. "Sorry, Linda, but I think it's awesome they're coming. It's just an hour, and it'll probably make our houses worth more." I knew property values were her weakness. Her smile vanished. "I see you're still not a team player," she hissed. "First those ugly solar panels, now this. And by the way, your grass is a 1/4 inch too tall on the east side." She scribbled on her clipboard so hard I thought the pen would snap. The morning of the VY-sit was straight out of a postcard. Blue skies, 72 degrees, a breeze that made the neighborhood flags dance. News vans lined the entrance, and excited residents crowded the sidewalks, kids perched on shoulders while VYing tiny flags. Everyone was chatting, laughing, acting like actual neighbors for once. Everyone but Linda. She turned her front yard into a protest fortress. Orange cones blocked her sidewalk. Yellow caution tape stretched from her mailbox to a tree, and signs screaming "private property" and "no trespassing." HOA enforcement were jammed into her perfect lawn, breaking at least 3 of her own rules, I noted with a smirk. But the real showstopper was Linda herself, standing at her property line in a crisp red blazer and white slacks, clutching a garden hose in one hand and filling a plastic bucket with the other. Her eyes were locked on the neighborhood entrance, where police motorcycles had just appeared, signaling the motorcade. I edged closer, a mix of curiosity and dread churning in my gut. "Linda," I called, "what are you doing with that water?" She turned, flashing a smile that made my skin crawl. "Just maintaining my property," she said, cool as ice. "Sometimes trespassers need a reminder they're not welcome. A little water never hurt anyone." I lowered my voice as neighbors started glancing our way. "You're not serious. This guy's got diplomatic immunity. You could start an international crisis." She snapped back. "I know my rights. This is America. My property line goes to the middle of the street. He got the paperwork to prove it." Before I could argue, the crowd roared. The motorcade was here. 3 sleek SUVs rolled in, followed by a vintage car with a small foreign flag fluttering. The prince, a dignified man in his 60s, waved from an open window, his robes glinting with what looked like real gold. City officials walked alongside, cameras flashing like crazy. The procession crept along, giving everyone a good look. Then, in a heartbeat, everything changed. As the prince's car neared Linda's property line, she stepped into the street, bucket in hand. I lunged to stop her, but I was too late. With a scream that could have shattered glass, she flung the water right through the open window, soaking the prince and his priceless robes. "This is private property," she shrieked. For one awful second, the world stopped. Then chaos erupted. Security swarmed the car. Cops from the escort sprinted toward Linda. The crowd gasped, phones already recording. The prince looked stunned as his team threw jackets and umbrellas over him. Linda kept yelling, "You're trespassing on HOA property. I'm the president here." But her tirade cut off as 2 officers grabbed her arms. "You're under arrest," one said, calm but firm, listing charges: assault on a diplomatic sider, disorderly conduct, interfering with a city event. Linda's face twisted with fury. "Arrested for what?" "Protecting my property from foreign invaders," she screeched as handcuffs clicked on her wrists. "I'll sue you all." Then came the twist nobody saw coming. The prince, still dripping wet, stepped out of his car after a quick huddle with his aides. He raised a hand, and the crowd hushed. "Please, it is no problem," he said in accented English, his smile warm. "In my country, water is for purification." Perhaps this lady was giving me an American welcome. A few nervous laughs broke the tension, but the cops weren't swayed. "Sorry, Your Highness," an officer said. "Assaulting a diplomat is a federal offense. We have to take her in." As they led Linda to a patrol car, the HOA VYC president, Tom, stepped up with a folder. "Officers, one thing before you go," he said, handing over some papers. "That street Linda calls private property, it's been city-owned for 3 months. Our HOA missed some tax payments, and the city took over." He shot Linda a look. "Our president forgot to mention that." Linda's face went from red to pale in a flash. "That's impossible," she wailed. "I never approved that." Tom raised his voice for all to hear. "That's the thing, Linda. You skipped the meeting where we voted on it busy at your spa getaway. So, not only was there no trespassing, but you assaulted a diplomat on public property." The crowd buzzed, some stifling laughs, as cameras zoomed in on Linda's disheveled hair and streaky mascara. 3 weeks later, the hammer came down. In a lightning-fast trial, fueled by global headlines, the judge showed no mercy. Linda got 6 months in jail, a $25,000 fine, and 3 years of probation. As the gavel fell, she whispered, "But I was just protecting our property values," her voice barely audible in the silent courtroom. So what do you think? Was Linda a tyrant who got what she deserved? Or was she a misguided patriot fighting for her rights? Should the prince have pressed charges? Or was his forgiveness too soft? And how far would you go to protect your turf? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this blew your mind, and subscribe for more wild stories like this.